Hi. So it's Friday at 11, so this is our weekly talk. There's been a lot going on, so so this section is becoming more of a concept-based thing. Soon I hope to have guests on to discuss various concepts, but right now I have not planned well enough for that. So today it's just you and me discussing something interesting. So today I was thinking, last week I was at that conference and I was talking about the various states that we were talking about, how state is affected by your physiology, by your language, and by your physiology, your language, and your focus. And that is very important. And then the week before that, we were discussing meditation, stopping, calming, resting, healing. Today, I thought that we would talk about the idea of preference. And this is something that comes up over and over again. And that's because preference is what makes us unhappy. And I mean, it's a pretty broad subject. Michael Singer talks about it a lot, and it's true. If you prefer things to be one way or another, you're going to be unhappy because things are never going to be the way you want them to be. And if they are, they'll only be that way for a brief time, and then when it's over, you're going to be upset that it's not like that anymore. So even when you get the good stuff, it's bad because you're just going to end up wanting the good stuff, feeling bad about whatever it is you have. Not a good feeling. This came into play yesterday for me. And I was having a day where things just seemed a bit more difficult to me than they really needed to. But that's how I was feeling. So looking at that, I can see that it was 100% about, I mean, it always is, like, right? 100% about what I wanted things to be and how they were not, or what I didn't want them to be and how they were. I'm still pulling that apart, but I think it's an important thing to recognize, as always. I wish I had someone else, my friend Dave, to discuss this with, but he did not answer me. Anyway, I'm not sure how else to present it, but that's pretty much it. If you want things to be one way or not to be another way, you're not going to be happy. So the solution then is to get rid of your preferences, right? And that is a tall order sometimes, or it cannot be. It's funny because it is whatever you make it, right? You make it a lot more difficult than it has to be, but on the other hand, we all do it. So doesn't it have to be kind of difficult? But it doesn't. It's very confusing. It's very confusing. But we all do it. And I think that the solution, or the way not to do it, is just to train oneself to recognize that when one is doing it, when one is having those preferences, which is basically like always. So if I'm feeling frustrated and nervous or upset or sad, for instance, let's just take, for instance, the breakup that I went through past year. And as great a breakup as it was, you couldn't have a better breakup. It was still sad. And I still am sad about it, you know what I mean? Like, that's bringing that back to that. I just want to for anybody out there going through this, going through a breakup, and be it months and months later, you're still sad. You know what I mean? You're getting over it. It's fine, but it's a process. And especially when I've been kind of stressed out, or I've felt anxious, I've been feeling lots of disturbances of anxiety in my my emotion. I have thought back to gotten a little angry, to be honest with you. Gotten a little angry with him because I miss that support, and I miss the encouragement, and I miss the love and everything that I got from that relationship, But again, that's selfish. Because I'm not saying it's selfish, it's selfish. But it's based on the self, right? It's not based on how things should be or could be. I mean, it could be. But it's not based on anything other than my preferences, right? It's based on what I want and not what reality is. Because reality is that everything is the way it should be, because it took 13.8 billion years to get here, to be what it is. It took 13.8 billion years for me to be what I am, for him to be what he is, for the situation surrounding our lives to be what it is. And it's perfect the way it is, because that's how it is. And the only thing that makes it bad is the fact that I don't want it that way. Right? I mean, that's kind of a silly thing. So let's work out with that then, right? No, it's not. Yes, it is. I don't know if it was dead or not an animal. I don't know. It was weird. It's either a weird piece of wood or a dead animal. I'm not quite sure what it was. But yeah, so I have that sadness. I have that anger and the disappointment. And no matter how I turn it around, no matter what I think about it, it's what it is. And there's really no point in thinking about it more than I already have, because I've learned what I can from it. And there was suddenly got very quiet. There was a lot I learned from it, a lot of beautiful things, and I got a lot of beautiful things out of it. And there's love in my heart that wasn't there before, and it will always be there. And I got a lot of wonderful things. And thinking about it anymore, other than that was nice, that was really nice, it's pointless, because it's not doing anybody any good. But it's still there, and I think that's a human thing, but it's also something that we can work on, right? Because it doesn't have to be there. I can just be happy that it was, and happy that it's still in my heart, and I don't have to be sad that it's gone. That's just preferences speaking. So what we look at, of course, as Michael Singer says, because he's a genius, what we work with is not our preferences, right? It's our preference to have preferences. It's not even our preference to have preferences. It's our desire to do something about it, right? It's I can just let it be, and that's progress, right? That's a lot of progress. It used to be that I would feel a preference, feel an emotion, try to get away from it, try and stifle it, but mostly try and do something to affect my environment so that the emotion would change. Never worked. Always made it worse. So just moving a little bit faster because someone was right there. Because for some reason I feel embarrassed with one-on-one people on the street, just not with this huge camera, with a camera going out to the world. Anyway, yeah, so what was I saying? So as I've said before, trying to do something about the sad feelings, trying to do something about whatever it was or whatever it is in the outside world that is causing the sad feelings only caused more problems, and it was exhausting. Something I was talking to my therapist about last week was I was talking about how trying to not feel your feelings was just so stressful. And she's like, it's exhausting. And I was like, yeah, because you add on top of the feelings, that you're having, the uncomfortable feelings that you're having, that you're trying to get away from. You add on top of that the stress of trying to change it, and the feeling that it shouldn't be this way. And it just adds so much more to the negative, uncomfortable feelings. Whereas if you just feel the feelings and recognize the desire to do something about it, but just like relax and release through it, things get better. Sometimes it's hard to keep it in mind. Especially, like, I find that I have to really listen to Michael Singer on a daily basis to keep things in my mind. And just, to keep them present so that I can remember them throughout the day. And then, so anyway, that's what I want to talk about today. Preferences, how they are the cause of, like in Buddhism they call them attachments. It's the same thing. They're the cause of our unhappiness, and how if we can just, watch the emotions they create, and be okay with just not doing anything about them, just feeling the feelings and letting it be, focusing on something else. Going back to the focusing thing. That's the best thing that we can do. So, that is the concept. I'm sorry, I don't have any change. That is the best concept. That is the concept I wanted to talk to you about today. Next week I will try and get a guest on to discuss mindset moments and such. David Cordero. Anyway, hopefully I'll have him on next week. We'll see. Sometimes he's too busy. Anyway, that's it. I wanted to say thank you for all of you out there. I hope that I've been useful. I am grateful for the tools that I've been given and the people I've been surrounded with who are helping me learn and helping me grow. And yesterday I wasn't doing well. Some of you may have seen. And today I am. So I just want to remind you all that even if one day is bad, the next day could be better. And you can make it better because you can choose. Those are cute dogs. Those were cute dogs. Because I want to remind you all out there, no matter how bad it seems, you can find something. You can always find something. So I'm always going to remind you every single time I talk to you that you can always choose to have a grateful day.